Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have a video for you guys that I don't normally do, but I want to see whether or not there's any interest in this kind of a video, and if there are, then maybe I'll continue doing them, but if there's not, then I guess this will probably be a one and done thing. We'll have to wait and see, but what I have for you guys is the titles and summary for the upcoming episodes of the Boruto anime. Yes, we have the summary, we have the title, so of course this will contain spoilers. I'll put spoilers in the title so you won't accidentally click on this video. So there's your warning. This video will contain spoilers. If you don't want spoilers in any way, shape, or form for the Boruto anime, there's your warning. And also just quick brief thoughts on episode 218, because episode 218 did drop, and just in case anyone is sort of curious as to what my thoughts on that episode are, I do think the episode was well done. Big props to the anime staff that worked on it, and I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but Studio Piero, or however you pronounce the word. I've always said Piero, but maybe I'm wrong. I do have to give full credit to the staff. I do think they did a pretty good job when it comes to the episode, specifically the ending where you got that trip down memory lane with Kurama. I do think it was done much better than it was in the manga. In the manga, it was sort of a thing that just happened, which honestly made me kind of disappointed that this is a big character death, and yet you treated it as if it was just nothing. I don't know, just didn't like it. The anime did do a much better job with that send off to Kurama. Now, me personally, I'm not really all that affected by it, because I think I've said this before, but the way I see Boruto is the same way I see Dragon Ball Super, where I don't really consider it an official continuation of the story. Because for me, as far as I'm concerned, the Naruto story ended with chapter 700. The only thing that I sort of consider to be like a proper continuation, and again, that's a big if, is the Boruto movie and the Naruto Gaiden, the Scarlet Spring, where they sort of focus on Sarada and her sort of meeting Sasuke and getting to know him and all of that stuff. Mostly because those were from the beginning written by Kishimoto, as opposed to sort of the Boruto anime and the Boruto manga, where it started off this thing where it's sort of supervised by Kishimoto, but not necessarily 100% written by him from the beginning till the end. You know, he only just got into the story, and even if he is involved, I think it's sort of in too deep. Like, it's too late for me personally. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. But that's just sort of where I am with the Boruto story, whether it's the manga or the anime. I'll still read it. I'll still continue covering it here on this channel. And if there's something that I like, I'll tell you. If there's something that I don't like, I'll tell you. And that's just where I am with the Boruto series. But again, despite that, I will still admit that the anime staff did do a good job with that episode. So, sort of quick thoughts on episode 218. So let's go ahead and get into the titles and the summary, and I'll give you guys my thoughts as we go along as to what might happen in the Boruto series moving forward, and what I think of what we have. Now, this is coming to us courtesy of Organic Dinosaur, so full credit goes to Organic Dinosaur. Go show her some support on Twitter, because she definitely deserves it for getting us all of this information and translating it for us. So with that being said, let's head to episode 219. Now, this is directly after the fight with Ishiki. This is next week's episode, at least as of the recording of this video. So the title is Returning, and it's airing on October 10th. After concluding their battle with Ishiki, Boruto and his comrades have returned to the village. Thanks to their tremendous efforts, their team has maintained the safety of the village. However, and in the midst of the battle, Boruto's consciousness was completely hijacked by Momoshiki. Once again, we saw that in episode 218. Boruto had developed a strong sense of dread about what had happened to him. Meanwhile, Amuro informs them about some new intel. The former leader of Kara, Jigen, had a faithful servant amongst his executive staff named Code, who possesses even greater powers than Jigen did. In addition, Kara currently has ownership of an immature form of the Jubi, tailed beast. That's the Ten Tails, for anyone who doesn't know. While Code is watching over the Ten Tails, something appears right in front of him. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, because if you read the manga, you know what this is referencing to, what this is referencing. I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to spoil it for any anime onlys. But this is covering everything. This is going to show us what's going to happen after they come back from the battle with Ishiki, like it says. Again, I won't go into what happens in the manga, because again, I don't want to spoil it. But we do get some very, very interesting things, even though they did tell you right here. Boruto, of course, feeling bad about what happened in when he was taken over by Momoshiki, and then of course Amado telling them about code. Now, if I remember correctly, this wasn't exactly shown in the manga, where Amado actually told Naruto and Sasuke and all of those guys about code and him being stronger than Jigen. Well, actually, no. I just remembered. Sorry, this did happen in the manga, so we are going to be getting the coverage of that specific part of the manga. Again, I won't go into any more detail because, like I said, I don't want to spoil it for any anime onlys who are watching this video. So let's move on over to the next episode. This one is called Remaining Time, and it's airing on the 17th of October. People who have been etched with a karma by a member of the Otsutsuki clan have gradually had their minds and bodies get taken over during the Otsutsuki transformation. So we're getting more information about the karma, even though it's information that we kind of already known. The situation surrounding Boruto and his Otsutsuki transformation is quite serious. Now, there is something that does get sort of done about it in the manga. I won't say what it is, but I do wonder if maybe they're going to talk about that in this episode. In addition, they need to discuss Code, who is the leader of Kara, and his movements, Boruto's father, who is the 7th Hokage. Naruto calls for a 5 Kage summit in order to convene with the others and talk about these matters. Amongst the topics is the progression of Boruto's Otsutsuki transformation, which will eventually become a situation with a level of threat that would be on par with Ishiki's case. I don't necessarily agree with that because, again, Ishiki was something else. I don't think Boruto will be on the level of Momoshiki, or excuse me, Boruto will be on the level of Ishiki, and there is a reason for that, specifically having to do with the karma. Again, I won't go into detail about that because that's spoilers for the manga. If you've read the manga, you probably already know what it is I'm talking about. By the way, don't spoil it in the comment section for anyone who hasn't read the manga and is only watching the anime. And so it became a question of what would be done if that situation arises. Could anything even be done about it at all? The fifth Kazekage Gaara then asked Naruto, "Are you prepared to attack and take down your own son?" As the Hokage and Boruto's father, what will be Naruto's decision now? If you read the manga, you already know what the answer is. Again, I won't spoil it here. So let's move on over to episode 221. Now, this is the thing that I think we're going to be talking about the most, at least in this video. The Chuunin exams, again on the 24th of October. At Naruto's suggestion, the Chuunin exams will take place in Konoha for the Genin. Since everyone in the village has grown uneasy due to Ishiki's raid, the other objective of the Chuunin exams is to cheer everyone up. Boruto and the peers in his same Genin class are each heading towards their own goals. These Genin are gathering together and aiming to be promoted to Chuunin status. Up until now, they've all been teammates who have completed numerous missions together and have gained considerable experiences from doing them. Now it's time to show off the results of their accumulated training. Everyone is super motivated to tackle the exams. Who will achieve their dearest wish of being promoted to Chuunin? Well, believe it or not, we don't actually know the answer to this because even the manga hasn't gone there, at least as of the recording of this video. Maybe we'll find out about it in the upcoming chapter 63. We'll have to wait and see. But okay, so basically we're going into full-on anime canon now. This is a good thing because in the manga there were a lot of things that did get skipped. Now, I won't say what exactly, but there were a lot of things that did get sort of skipped. Some things that I do kind of wish we would have seen. And there is a chance the anime is actually going to show us this. Because, again, it's possible that Kishimoto knows that since this is a monthly series and not weekly, he has to compromise on what he sort of wants to show and what he has to show and what he has to cut out, even if he actually wants to have it on screen. Because if he shows everything he wants to show, then it's going to make the manga feel like it's sort of dragging, even though it's not. Even though if you read all the chapters back to back, it's not going to feel like it's dragging at all. But because this is a monthly series, people have to wait a lot longer for the sort of wrap up to whatever arc is happening, as opposed to a weekly series. So again, I'm just guessing that this is what Kishimoto is doing. He has to sort of compromise, like he has to leave some things out and trust that the anime is going to have it, actually shown on screen. So I'm guessing this is probably what's going to happen since we're going into full on anime canon, especially with the Chuunin exams, because I can tell you in the manga this was not shown at all. In fact, the manga does sort of state that the manga does have little text bubbles where they tell you like some time has passed, either 2 weeks or a month has passed. So I'm guessing they're going to use that as an opportunity to sort of expand on certain things and have more episodes take place within those time frames to give the manga a chance to move forward and the anime to not catch up to the manga. So yeah, we're going into another tuning exams, but I wouldn't get all too excited because it seems like the the trend for the tuning exams is going to continue, and you'll see what I mean when we get to the next summary. So this is episode 222, the eve before the decisive battle, 31st of October. So this is the last episode of October of this month. The final test of the tuning exams has been announced. The format will be an individual combat matchup, so business as usual. Last time, not many candidates remained for the final test, but this time Boruto and many of the peers from his same class of Genin have made it. Each of them are very determined and are starting to make their final preparations. Amongst the finalists are Team 7, who have a top-ranked track record. The members of Team 10 and Izuno Wasabi, I completely forgot who this is. If you watch the anime, please let me know who this is, who has been putting forth a lot of effort into her missions despite the absence of Sumire. In addition, the test rules have changed. The use of self-made scientific ninja weapons are permitted. Okay, here's the thing. If you're Boruto, you have to be really goddamn pissed. So first, last year I get disqualified and stripped of my rank of Genin because I use a scientific ninja weapon, and now you're telling me they're allowed? I mean, if you're Boruto, you have to be pretty goddamn pissed. So Denki and Tsubaki, a samurai foreign exchange student from the Iron Country, and other finalists have been devoting themselves completely to the development and fine-tuning of their own scientific ninja weapons. And so there will be many new formidable foes in the final test. Some white-hot battles are about to unfold. So this is very, very interesting. So I remember that there were a lot of people who were kind of upset that we didn't get some development for the samurai in this world that Kishimoto built, and it seems like there's a chance we might get that in these tuning exams, or not, based on the next episode summary and what it could hint at. So let's move on over to episode 223. But before we do, let me know what you think about this whole thing of scientific ninja weapons being allowed. Personally, I don't like it because I thought the whole point of the Chuunin exams was to show how much you yourself have grown without the use of scientific ninja weapons, and now they're just being allowed. Although I do wonder if maybe the reason why this is happening, if this has anything to do with the fact that Naruto doesn't have Kurama anymore and Sasuke doesn't have the Rinnegan, and them knowing that because they can't possibly, or maybe because now they know they can't really rely on Naruto and Sasuke anymore, at least not as much as they used to defend them. Maybe now they're going to have to find ways to power up, and the only way they can realistically be on the level of characters like Naruto and Sasuke is if they use scientific ninja weapons. So do you think that maybe that's why they're allowing them now as opposed to before? We'll have to wait and see. So again, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So let's move on over to episode 223, called Inojin versus Hoki. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's the first episode of the month of November, on the 7th of November exactly. Sorry, just I thought about November, just remembered something else. At last, the final tests have begun. The first round of the individual combat matchups will be the battle between Yamanaki Inojin and Taketori Hoki. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing, or Hoki. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This guy, or Hoki, and his comrades from Team 25. Oh, okay, so it's a guy. Because you never know. Japanese names can be some names in Japan, just like in English, can be attributed to both male and female. So I don't know if I was. It does get confirmed. Whatever. Who cares? Have been doing missions with the Anbu up until now, which is rare and usual even amongst their own peers. That's why Inojin doesn't know what he could be scheming or what tricks that he might have up his sleeve. To start things off quickly, Inojin skillfully uses Super Beast imitating drawing or Super Beast scroll if you only watch the dub, which is a jutsu that is Inojin's forte. He is then able to drive Houki into a corner. However, Houki waits for a chance to use his jutsu. Suddenly, Inojin has completely lost sight of his enemy's whereabouts, and the tables have turned. Who will ultimately be the winner? Meanwhile, Boruto and Mitsuki are heading over to the venue for the final test. Since they are supposed to be participating in them, en route they happen to catch sight of some suspicious-looking people and decide to pursue them. So, it seems like there is a chance the Chuunin exams are going to get interrupted again. It's going to get interrupted again. So, you're telling me that there hasn't been a single Chuunin exams that haven't already been interrupted. At least one that isn't filler. So the one that Naruto and Sasuke were in got interrupted. The one that Boruto was in got interrupted. And now this one is also being interrupted. Possibly, excuse me. Sorry, just had to drink something. Hydrate. You guys know my throat tends to get dry when it comes to these videos. So yeah, it seems like there's a chance the Chuunin exams are going to get interrupted again. But if it doesn't, I want to ask you guys, who do you think is going to become Chuunin? Because again, we don't really know an answer to this question. Even from someone like me who's read the manga, who's all caught up with the manga, I can guarantee you they didn't answer this question. So even I don't know. So I'll ask you guys, who do you think is going to become a Chuunin? Do you think it's... I don't think it's Boruto, because I'm pretty sure they would have mentioned it in the manga. They don't, by the way. So, I guess that is technically kind of a spoiler for the manga. Well, it's a light spoiler, not that big. So, who do you think? Do you think is it going to be Inojin? Is it going to be Sarada? Is it going to be what's his name? Mitsuki? Is it going to be Iwabe? Is it going to be Denki? Who knows? And also, what do you think of the fact that scientific ninja weapons are allowed this time as opposed to before where they weren't allowed? Let me know all of that in the comment section down below. And of course, as always, big thank you to Organic Dinosaur for getting us this information. Guys, let me know again what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.